That's a lot of smoke. The smoke's coming from down there.
This is my 1979 Ford Fairmont that we bought and drove 1,800 miles home. So far, this car has not been very reliable. Come on! Now, I don't mean to brag, but I'm something of an expert on carburetors. I once had a weed eater that ran very poorly. I took that thing apart, cleaned the carburetor up, and now it doesn't run at all. So a much bigger and much more complex carburetor should be a walk in the park. Well, that sure looks like a carburetor. I don't know what any of this stuff does. Oh boy, I might have my work cut out for me. Well, as it turns out, carburetors are sort of scary. So I'm gonna try pulling all these plugs, see how they all look, just in case that's the source of our misfire. And if the plugs all look fine, then we're gonna have to deal with the carb. So as we all know, taking shortcuts when you're working on your car always works super well. So we're gonna use a little low-hanging fruit and try out some seafoam first to see if that gets the car running better. I also got some new plugs just because the old ones look pretty crappy. I'm gonna use a heat gun just to make sure that all 4 cylinders are firing. And if that doesn't work, we are gonna be opening up a barrel of monkeys trying to clean this carburetor. It looks a lot more complicated than I expected. All right, I forgot the fuel gauge does not work in this car, so we're just gonna yeah, that sounds about like a quarter tank, half tank. So it says to use 15 mils per liter of fuel, which is, this is literally incalculable. We're gonna have to use the whole can. I think that's our only option. We've got our comically oversized funnel here. Let's just let her eat. I'll do a little less than a whole can. Oh God, that stinks. I'll do a little bit more. I'll do the whole can. All right, quick intermission here. As you guys may or may not know, I just finished building my dream shop and I ran out of money partway through. So the interior, it's not looking up to par. So when Hyperlite reached out and wanted to send me this product, I jumped at the opportunity. This is so cool. I didn't even know this sort of thing existed, and I'm so pumped to have this in my own personal shop. This is so cool. Let's get this thing open. That is way cooler than I expected. That is so freaking cool. We gotta get this thing set up. I can't believe how cool that looks. Hey, what the hell? That looks so freaking cool. Oh my God. So if you guys want your very own one of these for the shop or just some really cool overhead lighting, hit up Hyperlite on Instagram and I'll throw the link down below. All right, I got it thrown back together here. I don't have the air filter on, so there might be issues with it not pulling vacuum, but I couldn't be bothered. Got a big fan set up here to hopefully minimize the amount of carbon monoxide we're getting in the shop. Now let's see if she'll go. Okay. That is really loud. It's really loud. It's idling very high. There we go. Oh, shit. She likes the high idle. I wonder if it's got an automatic choke on it. All right, I'm gonna let this run for a few minutes and we'll check back in with you guys. So the car seems to be running pretty well. I still need to check the timing on it, but all the cylinders seem to be firing. I'm gonna let this thing cool off for a few minutes and maybe just sit for overnight just to let the seafoam work its magic, and I need it to cool off to change out the starter. So while that happens, I'm gonna take you guys on a tour of some of the incredible wiring on this car. So as you know, here's the negative cable on the battery. It goes down to a weird little clip down there, which is bare wire. It's bare wire to like a P-clamp that goes to plastic, and it also screws into this weird galvanized strapping. So that's the main ground for the car right now, which is pretty incredible. I'm gonna have to see where that cable goes to and maybe replace that. Over on this side, we've got a whole mess of wiring. We got a relay that's all taped together here with one wire that doesn't go anywhere. We've got a wire attached together with heat shrink connector that is unshrunk, and that goes to the horn, which is soldered to it instead of just clipped on there. Why they had to add this yellow wire instead of just hooking the blue straight to the horn, I don't know. And then this relay goes up through here, through the firewall somewhere, and I'm gonna have to trace that inside the car to figure out what that even is. While I was checking that stuff out, I also decided to check the power steering fluid, because I seem to recall this thing screaming quite a bit last time it was driven, and yeah, that looks pretty terrible. It smells like the definition of burnt right now. So that's definitely gonna need to be changed out, but I think that's a pretty typical Ford thing. So yeah, we got some work to do to this car. So the car's been sitting for a little while now. The seafoam's had a chance to work its magic, and you heard that the starter wasn't catching very consistently, so we've got a new starter here. It hopefully won't be too big of a job. It's only 3 bolts and a power wire, but it is tucked way down in there, and it is very greasy, so I think this is gonna be a bit of a fight. We'll see if we can get it done. This might be a job for taking it at the top, actually. All right, we got the old one out. It was very frustrating and very grimy. And luckily, this actually does look like it's the right part. Slip this back in there, and hopefully this thing will be good for a road trip. Oh, she's already stuck. Got that new starter in. Let's see if she works. Test drive, and it just shut off on us. It doesn't want to start, and it smells like electrical fire. And it idles really nicely, but this thing won't go above about 40 miles an hour, even with it to the wood. So let's see if we can get this thing home in one piece. Also, the signal lights are not working apparently. God, this thing really smells like it's on fire. That's to the wood right now. So clearly seafoam was not enough to get this job done.
It doesn't smell like it's getting worse.
No, it doesn't. It could be the power steering pump too, because it's on its way out. Or it could just be, it might have been a mouse nest in the exhaust or something sitting all winter. I'm trying to shut off again. If I don't keep it matted, it wants to die. Oh. I think that burning smell is getting worse. That was such a bad place for it to shut off sideways across the road.
Thank God it was that street, not imagine it was this street.
I hope this thing makes it back up the driveway into the shop. It's a pretty steep climb for running like this.
Sakes, it's not.
I hope that's dust behind us, not smoke. It smells really bad. I wonder if it's the seafoam. It might be making it smell bad. It does need an actual carb tune-up.
Don't put us in the ditch.
I'm not gonna put us in the ditch. This thing is a sports car.
Well, we've made it back.
Made it back.
Fuck, dude, that's a lot of smoke.
Nothing's on fire.
smoke's coming from down there.
This bearing's cooked. See that bubbling?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd say maybe it's a bearing. After that initial drive, I thought the car probably still needed to be cleaned up. Now that we realize the wheel bearing is so hot that it's smoking after not even driving for a mile, I'm thinking maybe the car was just under a whole bunch of load because of that. So I think we're gonna end off the video here, change out the wheel bearing. If this thing still needs more of a tune-up, then we'll check back in with you guys next time. Thanks for watching.